All right, everyone. It's been a week officially since Hot Toys dropped a bomb on us. That's right. They said they're going to be doing the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Now, this naturally set all of our communities on fire because InArt, we thought, had the license and the exclusivity to have it marked at a $1,000 price point. But what do you know? Hot Toys says, hey, we got that, hold our beer essentially, and put up their own sculpted version as well as their own artisan version, which is going to be coming up a little bit later in this week, available for pre-order. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist by any means, but I can look at that and see, hey, that's below $1,000. So what the hell happened? So this is an official Fallout video as we talk about all of that we learned once the dust has settled and more. And what do you know? We even had Johnny from InArt show up on Will's stream on Friday to address that very question. And I went ahead and asked him that, and you will see that coming up next.
Hello. That's good.
Johnny, we meet again at last.
Yeah. I hope Will's been saying everything we paid him to say.
That's what I've been wondering about.
We've managed to get Will in our back pocket, so it's been a very successful.
Don't say that, dude. People are gonna believe that.
They honestly will. They honestly will. And that will freak you out.
Will paid us to be here.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this big Fallout video talking about the InArt Joker versus the Hot Toys Joker. Who lied? Who's telling the truth? Or is maybe some of that truth a little bit in between, essentially? So now that we have been a week removed from this, I think we can have a few more facts added to the puzzle, essentially, that we were trying to solve over the past 7 to 8 days, with official confirmation from Johnny from InArt himself, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, please do me a favor, give me a presumptive like on this video, and of course, subscribe if you like this type of content, 6-scale news, and more. I would certainly be appreciative if you did. I thought it would be a lot of fun to go back to my last video that launched a nuclear conversation and look at some of the top comments and address those before we get to Johnny. Let's take a look at the top comment. Now, of course, the top comment was one that I pinned by Will because we actually had differing opinions on this. And if you do want to see what he said in its entirety, go ahead, check out my last video, scroll to the top, look at the pinned comments, and read everything that he said. And obviously, there was a lot of remarks to that. And the best thing about it is that we can have a difference of opinion. And that's one thing I do appreciate about our friendship. So let's look at our next top comment. This one is from War Chief AJD. They say, I agree that this release calls into question InArt's claims about that price point. It's really weird, and now I think a lot of people are stuck with 3 to 4 figures from those sets they probably really don't want. That said, just comparing the quality, I do think the InArt Red Suit Joker looks significantly better than what Hot Toys just showed, so I don't think those who ordered it lost the battle, except when it comes to how badly their wallets were hit. And that's the main point that I think most people are upset about, is the price difference, the big discrepancy. That's what everyone is so upset about. Why pay $1,700 for something and get 3 figures you might not want when you could just pay potentially $300 for the sculpted version and get 1 figure that you really do want? You see what I'm talking about? The math doesn't math for a lot of people. Let's take a look at the next comment. Darth Tamara says, InArt really pooped the bed in this one. Now, of course, from the outside looking in, you could see that, and Johnny does address that coming up in just a second. On to the next comment. This comes from the film host with an excellent quote. Hot Toys says, it's not about money, it's about sending a message. Obviously, that's a great reference from The Dark Knight. But they go on to say they really fired shots with this Joker announcement. I'm not a huge fan of this version either way, but I can certainly understand and empathize with what's going on here and why so many are upset with InArt right now. Legit, my first thought when I saw this was, wait, didn't they say they couldn't do single releases because of licensor restrictions? That's BS. Hope we get those answers as I have pre-orders with them. Anyway, great video as always. I will never not pop for a good Dark Knight Joker quote, but that's what a lot of people are saying, is that there is some sticker shock when we see, obviously, one company that is selling it for far cheaper than the other one that said they had to sell it at a certain cost. On to the next comment. Austin Collects 18 says, I want to believe that something involving licensing has changed, or Hot Toys is able to negotiate. I don't regret getting the 4-pack from InArt, as I see the value of both sets. But if they lied, then that's not good business move. Happy to see you calling out anything that's sus. I know you'd call out anything Hot Toys does too. Yeah, and that's the way I've always tried to do this channel, is that I try to say objectively what I see and people react to it. We let Johnny react to that coming up in just a second, because if we see something that looks off and you don't say something, then you will always get ran over. And yeah, I said that about InArt, and some people say that, oh, you just jump on InArt because you're a Hot Toys fanboy. No, I will complain about the Hot Toys offerings as well if they do some shady stuff. So I like what the person said is that I call it out as it is, so I'll give myself pats on the back. No Name to Fame says, I think today just showcases how powerful and influential Hot Toys is as a company. It just flexed all over its competition. Clearly, it's in a contract negotiation for the Phoenix Joker, and just rendered a new release still coming to the hands of collectors practically obsolete overnight. Looking at you, Battle Damage Vader. Hot Toys doesn't just break the rules, it sets its own rules for the game. You know, that's some tough words, but I can't argue with it, and I think they are exactly right. Hot Toys is the dominant force in the 1/6 scale market. There is no disputing that. So yeah, they kind of play by their own rules, and if they want to dictate the way something needs to be, they do just that. On to our last comment for today. Kiko, you're making good points, but the problem here is it's all speculation. We don't know any of the behind-the-scenes licensing agreements. You're so upset and getting people upset over nothing but speculation and conjecture. If they cut a deal with Hot Toys and not InArt, that's not InArt's fault. Love you, man, but we have no idea what's happening here. And you know what? I actually agree with you. A lot of this is speculation and conjecture, but that's what we do as collectors. We love to speculate. We love speculating on what the next release is going to be. We love to speculate about what the next accessories are going to be, who's acquiring what license, and so forth and so forth. That's what we do. So speculation is fun and a part of this game. But the conversation that everyone is asking about, how did we get here? Well, let's take a look back at how we did get here. And that was starting with the Dark Knight Joker that InArt first introduced when they first came onto the scene. We thought that when we had the Dark Knight Joker, the Heath Ledger Joker, that was the big comparison to see whether or not Hot Toys and InArt were even in the same ballpark. InArt released their much improved Dark Knight Joker. If you look at this, this is what InArt said that they were going to put out. And honestly, this looks pretty damn good, but InArt ended up releasing it and if you want to call it that, I don't think that it lived up to its pre-production hype. I definitely think there was a drop-off, especially because my hair required a lot more futzing, but that was essentially going to be the first foray that InArt had, and that was about 2 years ago. Fast forward to the Batman, the Pattinson Batman, everyone said this is the way we're going to be able to tell whether or not Hot Toys and InArt are in the same ballpark. And I'm still waiting on my InArt Batman, and Johnny answered that question as well on Will's stream, and we're going to be getting Johnny back myself to interview him directly at another date. So if you do want to see a little bit more of that and have some questions for him, hard questions, mind you, please make sure to send that in the comments. Respectfully, of course, because we can always disagree, but things do need to be asked responsibly. But we were going to be using those two as the official litmus test to see whether or not they were the same company, who was better, and kind of where everyone stacks up in the 6-scale game. But now, there is an official new entrant. We have the 2019 Joaquin Phoenix Joker with InArt, as well as one from Hot Toys. Now, that's great if it was going to be a 1-for-1, but Hot Toys has an intro price far less than what InArt officially offered. We were said that it'd have to be $1,000. That was the main entry point that InArt was saying, and that's officially what Johnny confirms in this interview that we'll do in just a second. But when Hot Toys officially dropped it and says, okay, here you go, here's our sculpted and artisan, and once it goes up for pre-order, we know it will be less than $1,000. So who's telling the truth? Who's lying? What do we know? So now that we are a week removed, the dust has settled a little bit, and we've gotten a little more information. And not only do we have Hot Toys vs. InArt in the 6-scale game, apparently that license is up for grabs because at San Diego Comic-Con, we found out that Mafex as well as McFarlane is doing their own in the 1/12 scale line, or equivalent if you're a McFarlane fan. So what is going on here? We know those figures are not going to be $1,000+ plus. So what exactly is WB offering or asking of InArt? And was InArt being truthful? You know, I think it'd be helpful if we actually listened to what Johnny said about that. And as I said, he officially showed up on the stream because Will was over in San Diego Comic-Con and he was hanging out with InArt. And as Johnny joked about, Will is in their back pocket. So of course they hung out. But in all seriousness, Johnny was willing to come on and answer a few hard questions, specifically the one about the InArt versus Hot Toys Joker. And let's look what he says.
Dean, shut up! I'm trying to talk.
You go.
When did you know that Hot Toys was going to do their own Joker, and were you prepared that backlash was going to come? And what did you guys think internally? Like, what do we do, essentially?
So that's a very good question. So we found out the day everyone else found out, and then we were messaging our contract managers like, what's going on? Because immediately in the Chinese market, the same response overseas market. You know, liars basically, and blah 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 blah. But why the thing is like, why would we make 4 figures? It didn't actually benefit us anyway. The reason why we made 4 figures is because we could not justify charging $1,000 for just one. So we thought, what was the best way to get bang for the buck for the collector? And it not been done before. It's been done in statues, but never in 6 scale. And the reason why it's never been done is because of the price. The SRP had to be 1,000 for the new movie. We knew in maybe February when we met with Warner Brothers. They said, "Oh, for the new movie, we're going to drop the price down."
Talking about Joker 2?
Yeah. Okay. They said we're going to drop the retail minimum down from 1,000 to 250. So we knew it was going to happen. So we assumed other companies will make Joker 2. So there was confusion which Joker this was, but we saw on the posters.
Yeah, and on the Hot Toys one, apparently it does say Joker 2 on there with some of their licensing pieces. Someone pointed that out to me.
But in the amendment or the memo that we received, it did say that the new price point would be retroactively applied. So if they wanted to do, or anyone wants to do Joker 1, they can now do it at 250. But prior to a certain date, it had to be 1,000. I'm not sure where we were at that time, but when we started developing the figure, it had to be 1,000. So that's why we went down that route.
Yeah. And as someone who has the 4-pack on pre-order, I'm invested here. And I agree with you that being able to put all 4 up, I mean, you're getting a hell of a deal for sure. I mean, there's no doubt the quality that you're getting with 4 incredible figures. But as you admitted, you know, it's not just the overseas market, the Chinese market. Everyone is saying, well, if I could only get 1, I'd much rather prefer that. I mean, we're locked into the 4, so we're going with that. So things are what they are, as you said, and we just roll with it. So, I mean, we can talk more about it at another point. Johnny, if you want to schedule some time, or if I can schedule time with you, rather, I'd love to just chat a little bit more about some of the business dealings and such. But I appreciate you. I hope you know that whenever we say harsh things, we're not upset with you. We just as a, hey, what can we do as collectors to get the companies to hear what the average collector says?
Yeah, we don't take anything personally, and we understand if we were the consumer or the customer and we were a collector,
and that's what means something, because you guys do talk, other people don't.
Yeah, we understand the frustrations, but then at the same time, we have the same frustrations. I'm sure anyone that works in any company has got complaints about how their company runs, and oh, they should do this, they should do that. But then when you climb the ladder and you get into that position, you realize, oh, if I do this, then it's going to have a knock-on effect here and there and there. So there's just, it's never black and white. It's always like gray. So for us, we've got to try and go between those two and try and find the best route, which takes time, unfortunately. It's not an overnight thing. And we've been compared to other companies that have had 20 years to perfect it and to get good and to become the best. And there's a reason why no one's challenged them for so long, because it's so hard to do. And as we're getting there, we get a lot of criticism now, but we know that if we just push through the criticism, work hard and just focus on the important things, we could be at their level one day. And that's what basically gives more choice to the consumer, because you guys now have more options from the other lines that have been put out. And there'll be other companies that will see us challenging and think, oh, we could challenge them now. So I think it's good for everyone.
Well, there you have it. Straight from the horse's mouth. As Johnny said, it is a contract matter. And before, that is the deal they had, but now the contracts have changed. Does that mean that we're going to be getting some better licensed Joker 2 stuff coming forward later on from InArt? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. As I said, Johnny was up and willing to have another conversation with me specifically about some hard questions. So if there are other hard questions that you want me to ask and it'll be an unfiltered, uncensored thing, then let me know down in the comments. As I said, as long as it's asked respectfully, I'm willing to ask anything. So make sure to let me know what you want to hear if you're interested in that at all. But does this satisfy our situation with the InArt Joker in the Hot Toys Artisan Edition that's going to be coming up for pre-order very soon? Or are you still upset about it? Obviously, sound off about that too, because I would love to continue the conversation. But for me, I think we can go ahead and just file this away as just another page in our 6-scale collecting history. And boy, has it been an eventful one. If you like this type of content, as I said, let me know down in the comments. I love to engage with all of you. And as I said, if you've not subscribed to this channel, I would certainly appreciate it if you did. I'm going to be trying to put out some more videos a lot more frequently. So if you're not tired of seeing me, let me know. And until then, I will be seeing you in our next video.